When people tell me about revolutionary skillets, I'm skeptical. But the pan I'm holding is indeed a new concept. It's made by Strata. This skillet has an aluminum core and a carbon steel lining. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Could this be a replacement for all those Teflon pans that wear out and end up in a landfill? Well, let's find out. I had my eye on the skillet for a while, so when Strata contacted me and offered me a skillet to try, I said yes. To understand what attracted me to the skillet, you need to understand the pros and cons of different skillet materials. Stainless steel is my favorite skillet type. Calling it stainless steel is a bit misleading. The core of these pans is aluminum. Stainless steel is just a lining. It's light, its handles stay cool, it heats up and cools off quickly and evenly. It's the pan that gives me the most heat control. But it's sticky. So there are ingredients it can't handle, like eggs, potatoes, delicate fish, crepes. Until recently, I had 3 options for cooking the sticky stuff. Option 1 was Teflon. It works great, but wears out with time and can't be used on very high heat. I will not go into all the safety issues with Teflon. Derek Muller made a great video about it on Veritasium channel, and I'll link it below. Option 2 was proprietary, innovative non-stick coatings like green pan. I've tried it but didn't like it. The coating lost its non-stick ability much faster than Teflon. Another thing that bothers me about these miracle coatings is that we don't know exactly what's in them and how good or bad it is for us or the environment. I mean, remember that at some point Teflon was considered an environmentally friendly option. So option 3 was cast iron and carbon steel. With proper seasoning, these pans can be non-stick, but they are insanely heavy, heat slowly and unevenly, don't respond to a quick drop in temperature, and the handles get very hot. So, now that we know all that, let's look at Strata. They kept the aluminum core and the stay cool handle of a stainless steel skillet, but replaced the stainless steel lining on the inside of the pan with carbon steel, allowing you to season it. Since the carbon steel layer is thin, it doesn't add much weight to the pan, so this thing is incredibly light for its size. Let's cook all the sticky foods and see how it performs. For an extra challenge, let's cook our eggs on low heat. The faster you brown something, the less it sticks. If the heat were high enough, you could even fry an egg in a stainless steel skillet, but I want to see if I get any sticking on low heat. For this task, Strata feels as good as Teflon. Absolutely no sticking. Now let's try salmon. The challenge here is to see how little fat I can get away with. When I cook salmon, I like to use the absolute minimum amount of oil since it's such a fatty fish. Well, that was a great release. And look at the heat distribution. Every piece of fish is perfectly brown. But can it handle the sticky glaze? Let's add some soy sauce and mirin and see what happens. The salmon turned out just fine and released with no problems, even with the sticky glaze. But I do see a glaze residue in the skillet. Some of the glaze got stuck. The good news is that it didn't harm the dish and washed off easily. How about potatoes? To make it extra challenging, let's cook them covered to trap the steam. It's the same idea as with eggs. Steam slows down browning, and I want to see how the skillet will handle that. This is how I cook potatoes for tortilla de patatas. All these tests are my real dishes, so these are real-world scenarios. I'm getting very good browning, and the potatoes are releasing without scraping. By the end of the cook, there was a slight residue on the bottom of the skillet, but every single potato came out without sticking. By the way, if this happens to you with carbon steel or cast iron, the easiest way to remove that residue is salt. Just sprinkle some cheap salt into your pan. I already have oil in the pan, but if I didn't, I'd add some oil and give it a good scrub with a paper towel. A quick rinse with a soapy sponge and we are back to perfect smoothness. Yes, it's perfectly fine to use soap in this and any other seasoned cookware. Just don't use steel wool or barkeeper's friend. Now here's a task that really makes the skillet shine. Crepes. Unlike with Teflon, I can use high heat with no worries. This is a 12.5-inch skillet. It's huge, but so light that I can swirl it even with my tendinitis. I can't even imagine doing this with cast iron. Is it ready to flip? I think so. Well, that was easy. By the way, making crepes is one of the best ways to build up a lot of seasoning on your skillet. In case you need a crepe recipe, I'll link to mine in the description below. So as you can see, this pan is a joy to use. And now let's get to some hard questions. Can I just season my stainless steel skillet and make it non-stick? I've seen videos about this and last year I tried it. Stainless steel is not a reactive metal, so it doesn't hold onto the seasoning nearly as well as carbon steel. You can form a layer of polymerized grease on it, and yes, that will reduce sticking, but this layer ends up peeling off rather easily. It's also important to keep some skillets unseasoned so that you can use tomatoes, wine, and other acidic ingredients. As soon as I tried acidity in my seasoned stainless steel skillet, it lost the seasoning. Is Strata the only skillet you need? No, you definitely need stainless steel. You can't use acidic ingredients in Strata without damaging the coating. How hard is seasoning and washing? The pan comes with great instructions and only takes a few hours to season. The procedure is the same as for cast iron, but you only need to season the inside. Washing is a lot easier than with cast iron. First of all, the pan is light and easy to maneuver. Second of all, the handle stays cool. I can wash it as soon as I am done using it. With cast iron, I often have to wait a long time for the handle to be cool enough to hold during washing. I also love that I only have to dry the inside. The outside and the handle are stainless steel and won't rust. Will I get rid of all my Teflon pans? No, but now I use them way less and I hope they'll last me a long time. There are some very sticky tasks like reducing soy syrup that work best in Teflon, but for most sticky tasks, I now use Strata. Is it worth the price? It depends. Here's the current pricing for Strata. Not cheap. If you're just out of college and starting to cook, I don't see the skillet worth the investment. It's both expensive and requires more knowledge than a newbie might have. You can't just use it out of the box. You have to understand what you can and can't cook in it. You have to learn to season and wash and dry. It's a lot. But if you're a seasoned cook, the skillet could be a wonderful addition to your kitchen. In my house, it gets way more use than my cast iron pan. If you want to try Strata, there is a discount code in the description below. Here are more thought-provoking culinary videos for you to check out, and if you are ever in the Boston area, maybe I'll see you in one of my classes.